everyone, so I'm going to be making a video on how to create your own data and then use your own data. So I'm just going to open up a brand new project, new terminal, go to my desktop, and then just create a brand new project. You can call this project anything you'd like. And when it asks for TypeScript, say no, ESLint, no, this stuff, no, no, and here just hit enter just to keep the default. So we're just going to start off with the bare bones basics of Nextjs 13. And there we go, so that's done. We just need to drag and drop it over. And right here we're going to be adding a folder here, and we're going to create our data first. So we're going to right click in an empty spot, new folder, and we're going to make it data. So you can see here it's at the root of our project. So we have a data folder. I'm going to call a new file inside of it called inventory. I'll say for the first example we're going to do a JS file, JavaScript file. And we're going to set up our inventory here of books. So to set it up, we can do it this way. This is the first way of doing it. Export const inventory. And the way I'm going to set it up is containing an array of information. I'm going to just copy in the data so you don't have to see me typing it in one line at a time. You can pause the video to type it out yourself or check the link in the description box below to the GitHub repository. But you can see here I have an inventory of the title, author, year published for all the different types of books. These are all coding books. So I'm just putting this in so I could use this data in my project. And you can see here that there are no quotes around the keys here, but there's quotes if it's a text around the value. Numbers do not need quotes around it. And you can see here I put it in an array first, but within this array it has objects of information. So we're going to loop through these objects here in order to grab the information we need as we loop through. And you can see here that the keys are always the same: title, author, year published, title, author, year published, title, author, year published, and so on. So you have to make it the same in order to make it iterable over and over and over again. So we're going to save this file right here. And I'm going to go to my index page, so pages, index.js, and right here I'm going to delete everything in between the main right here. So right here we got all of the template right here. We don't need anything special right now. What I have to do though is I have to import this data. So at the top I'll have to import, and I have to use these curly brace brackets here for this example, and type in inventory. And you can see here it might automatically set it up for you once you hit enter, but we have to call it inventory when it's in this curly brace bracket because we called it inventory right here. We set up a variable called inventory, and we can call this inventory variable that contains all of the information, and now we can grab the data we need. So what we could do here is now we can actually loop through our data. But first, let's actually do this so we could see what's going on. I'm going to just do console.log inventory. So I'm just going to run it right now so I could see what is going on. npm run dev. And I'll go to my browser. So you can see right here on the page there's nothing yet because we haven't displayed anything. But here in our console, so if we right click inspect, you can see in the console tab that we have an array of information, which is all of our data that we have set up. So now we want to actually use this data and display it on the screen here. So let me use the curly brace bracket here. And I'm going to look through my data, but first I actually have to set up the data here in this use state. So I could do const item, set item, and then that'll equal to use state. And I'll put the inventory. So I'm just saying with 3 dots here, just add into this array of information in the use state, add this inventory data. So now we can call item right down here and loop through all of the information. So we could check to see if there's anything in the item, and if there is, we're going to map through it, and if we can get something, I'll say I and index. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to return. I'll make it a div here, and I'll say in curly brace brackets here, I'll have to call I again, dot, and you can see it gives you all of these other methods here, or these other keys that we can call, so we can actually get the value. So let's actually call the year published, and here I have to make this unique each time it iterates through. So I'm just going to call key and then index, so then we don't get that error in our console. I'm going to save it. I'll go back to our browser, and you can see right here it iterates through all of the years in the data file. So again, here is the code if you need to see it for the index. I'm also going to be putting a link to the GitHub repository so you could take a look as well. And this is the inventory data, which will be on GitHub as well.